ผมวารินทร์ สัจเดลนะครับวันนี้รู้สึกเป็นเกียรติอย่างยิ่งที่ได้รับหน้าที่ดำเนินรายการ Cinema Diverse ซึ่งจัดขึ้นโดยหอศิลปวัฒนธรรมแห่งกรุงเทพมหานครนะครับร่วมกับกลุ่ม Films Forum ในการนำเสนอภาพยนตร์นานาชาติซึ่งมีความหลากหลายทางวัฒนธรรมทั้งหมด5เรื่องนะครับในเดือนนี้เดือนกรกฎาคมและอีก3เดือนสุดท้ายของปีนี้นะครับซึ่งมีประเทศอินเดียศรีลังกาฟิลิปปินส์ปากีสถานและประเทศไทยปิดท้ายนะครับสำหรับรายละเอียดของภาพยนตร์ทั้ง5เรื่องนั้นนะครับแขกผู้มีเกียรติทุกท่านสามารถที่จะเข้าไปดูรายละเอียดเพิ่มเติมได้ที่เว็บไซต์ของทางหอศิลป์กรุงเทพนะครับคือ worldwideweb.bacc.or.th นะครับ His Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, members of the media, and my lovely audience, I'm Varin Sajde, very honored to be your MC for the opening, the launch of Cinema Diverse, bringing in 5 movies until the end of this year with a diverse culture to bridge the gap between cultures and to promote cultural diversity through films. It's organized by the BACC, the Bangkok Art and Cultural Center, together with Films Forum. And without further ado, I would like to invite Kun Lakhana Kunawichiyanon. She is the director of BACC to tell us about the inception of this project, Cinema Diverse. Please join me in welcoming Kun Lakhana Kunawichiyanon ผู้อำนวยการหอศิลป์กรุงเทพขอเสียงปรบมือต้อนรับคุณลัคนาด้วยครับ
สวัสดีค่ะขอต้อนรับทุกท่านนะคะสู่หอศิลปวัฒนธรรมแห่งกรุงเทพมหานครค่ะก็ขอกล่าวเป็นภาษาไทยก่อนนะคะเนื่องจากว่าครั้งนี้ก็ถือว่าเป็นครั้งแรกของการจัดเทศกาลศิลปะนะคะ Cinema Diverse ซึ่งถือว่าเป็นภาพยนตร์คัดสรรแล้วก็เป็นภาพยนตร์ที่เราน่าจะไม่มีโอกาสได้ชมในโรงภาพยนตร์ทั่วไปนะคะซึ่งอันนี้ก็ถือว่าเป็นวัตถุประสงค์หนึ่งของทางหอศิลป์ที่จะได้ริเริ่มโครงการลักษณะนี้นะคะเพราะว่าเราคิดว่าเราน่าจะได้เปิดโอกาสให้กับผู้ชมชาวไทยเนี่ยได้พบกับวัฒนธรรมที่หลากหลายมากขึ้นนะคะเนื่องจากว่าวันนี้เรามี international audience นะคะค่อนข้างมากนะคะในวันนี้ก็จะขออนุญาตใช้ภาษาอังกฤษในการกล่าวต้อนรับทุกท่านอย่างเป็นทางการเพื่อที่เราจะได้รักษาเวลาในวันนี้นะเพราะว่าเดี๋ยวจะนอกจากจะมีการฉายภาพยนตร์เรื่อง Colors of Passions แล้วเนี่ยหลังจากจบภาพยนตร์เราจะมี Q&A ด้วยนะคะซึ่งก็อยากจะให้ทุกท่านอยู่จนถึงช่วงท้ายนะคะเพราะคิดว่าน่าสนใจมากแล้วก็ต้องขอตอบว่าส่วนหนึ่งที่เลือกภาพยนตร์เรื่องนี้ขึ้นมาเนี่ยเดี๋ยวทุกท่านจะได้ทราบหลังจากได้ชมว่าทำไมเราถึงได้เลือกหนังเรื่องนี้เป็นภาพยนตร์เปิดของเทศกาล Cinema Diverse ที่หอศิลปวัฒนธรรมแห่งกรุงเทพมหานครนะคะก็เดี๋ยวคงจะได้รับชมกันนะคะ Good evening and warmly welcome Your Excellency Ambassador of India Anil Wadhwa, His Excellency Ambassador of Sri Lanka General Shanta Ketagoda, His Excellency the Ambassador of Bangladesh Kosi Imis Hussain, Dr. Norbert Spitsam, the Director of Goethe Institute, Professor Dr. Apinan Bosianon, Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Culture, Mr. Ketan Mehta, the Director, as well as Ms. Nandana Sen, the leading actress of Colors of Passion, the member of press, thanks for coming, and distinguished guests to Cinema Diverse. This film festival is the first time event organized by Bangkok Art and Culture Center, BACC, in collaboration with Films Forum. Film for this festival will be screened now until December. Cinema Diverse has its aim to advance artistic activity involving cinema. After each film shown during this festival, there will be an Q&A section with people involving in the production so that audiences and cinema goers will get to discuss and exchange ideas with experienced people in the cinema world. We are delighted tonight to have the permission from the director to show these magnificent films, Colors of Passions, here in Bangkok. The films really reaffirm the importance of art to the society. As part of the BACC Administrative Office, I'm very privilege to have a chance to show this film, and it's really reassure that what we are doing here is really worthwhile and meaningful to the society. Cinema Diverse team hopes that this festival will stimulate viewers to expand perspective in different society and inspire their creativity in terms of art and culture. Lastly, I'd like to thank all sponsors to this event, namely our main sponsor, the Embassy of India in Thailand for the beautiful food outside, Aditya Birla Group, Thai Airways International, who flew the director and the actress here tonight, Rembrandt Hotel, Mrs. Balber's Indian Cuisine, Thai Nam Tip Company, Almac Sport, Express International Travel, along with everyone here as our big supporter to the event. We are hoping every one of you will be satisfied with your cinema experience and gain a valuable knowledge during the Q&A session. Thank you.
ขอบพระคุณครับคุณลัคนาคุณาวิชยานนท์ she's the director of the BACC kicking off the Cinema Diverse taking place from now until the end of this year. Next, I would like to invite His Excellency Indian Ambassador to Thailand, Mr. Anil Wadhwa, to say a few words on the stage welcoming our audience. ขอเสียงปรบมือต้อนรับท่านทูตอินเดียประจำประเทศไทยด้วยนะครับคุณอนิลวาดวาครับเพราะว่าเราเริ่มภาพยนตร์ในซีรีส์ของ Cinema Diverse Series กันด้วยภาพยนตร์จากอินเดียนะครับเรื่อง Colors of Passion ครับ
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, and all of you in the audience. It's a great pleasure to see a full house today. And I'm not going to talk about the film, neither is this going to be a speech, because we have a Q&A session later on. I just wanted to make 2 or 3 points today. One is that ever since the first silent movie in India, we've been through this for about 100 years. And we produce over 1,000 films in a year. And that's not a small number. And of course, from rock chic to glamour, from dress to design, from travel destinations to anything that you name it in India, cinema provides a template. And there is a marriage between films and fashion in India, which is the closest perhaps anywhere else, compared to anywhere else. And in the 21st century, cinema in India is now revisiting itself, is breaking new grounds. Today's film, I believe, is one of those films. And I leave it to you, to your judgment. And later on, you can express your views about the film once we finish. Second point is that we have about close to 100,000 people from India who visit Thailand. We would like more tourists from Thailand also to visit India. And Indian movies in this respect will play a very important role. And therefore, we would like to introduce cinema from India to the extent that is possible in Thailand. And I'm sure that is going to help us economically, culturally, and socially, and it will strengthen the already existing bonds that we have with Thailand. These bonds date back to centuries, and we have a sizable population, Indian population, which already lives in Thailand. So today, I'd like to thank everyone who's made sure that this film is being shown as the opening film of the Cinema Diverse series. First of all, I'd like to thank BACC and Kun Lakana and her very hard-working team. I'd like to thank Lekha Shankar, who's worked very hard to put this whole event together and made sure that everything fell into place. I'd like to thank the Indian Cultural Center, director of the Cultural Center in particular, who's been very generous with her sponsorship and her effort. And I would like to especially thank Kun Pana, the Pasiri Pana, who's worked with Lekha Shankar to make sure that all of you who have made this possible came together. I'd like to thank all the sponsors, whom I will not name individually, but all of them have contributed very generously without any questions to the restaurant of Mrs. Balbir, which has provided this wonderful food outside, and to you all in the audience who've actually come here and encouraged us, especially the two luminaries from India who are visiting for this film, the director Ketan Mehta and actress Nandana Sen. And finally, I'll give them a big hand, please. I think it's very encouraging for us that they decided to come down and spend not 1, not 2, but 3 days with us and explain to us everything which is related to the film. And their presence here has actually contributed a lot to us encouraging others to look at Indian cinema in a different way. So I'd like to thank them very much for sparing this time and their effort. Thank you very much.
Namaste, Savati Group. It's such a wonderful audience, and I'm really happy to be here. I must thank BACC and Film Forum for making this happen. I seriously believe that film is the greatest medium ever invented by a human being, and it's the best way of communication of cultures. So this initiative is a truly wonderful initiative, and I especially thank Lekha and Nai, they are somewhere here in the audience, who have made this possible, and I hope this is just the beginning. Colors of Passion is a film based on the life of one of the greatest Indian painters called Raja Ravi Verma, who is acknowledged as the father of modern Indian art. And above all, he is a person who actually gave faces to Indian gods for the first time. Not only that, he actually democratized art by printing his own pictures and really circulating it all over India. So today when we, in India, we bow in front of a Saraswati or a Lakshmi, it is actually a painting derived from Raja Ravi Verma and his visualization. An extremely colorful and extremely controversial character, and you will see why. I hope you enjoy the film, and we'll talk after the film is over.
Mr. Ketan Mehta นะครับผู้กำกับนะครับคุณ Ketan Mehta Nandana, I'm sure there'll be a lot to say after we watch the movie, but any introduction for the movie before we enjoy the movie?
Sawadika. Yinditi popcorn. I just wanted to say this is just to add to what Ketan said, it's a really pioneering film in a number of different ways. This film crossed many barriers that had never been crossed before in Indian cinema. It's the first Indian film about censorship of art, which, as you may know, is a huge problem not only in India but globally. Our freedom of artistic expression is something that is under threat all over the world, and this is a rare film in the world and the only film in India that has dealt with this very important issue. It's also the first film, it's a film that's about the man who was the first person to democratize gods, Raja Ravi Verma. It's also a film that gives you a glimpse about the first accidental pin-up girl in India, which is the character that I play. And in order to play this part, I broke a lot of rules that no other Indian actress in any Hindi films have ever broken before. And perhaps most importantly, it's the first film that in the history of Indian cinema, which was passed by the censor board without any cuts, even though its content is quite controversial. So what I would really love you to do is to watch the movie with an open mind and ask us any questions that you would like to at the end of it.
First of all, I must apologize on behalf of our great cameraman, who is a German cameraman, because what you saw was a DVD projection of the film. It doesn't do justice to the colors and the clarity of the image. I'm sorry about this. The picture quality is stunningly brilliant, and unfortunately you couldn't see that. But so be it. The story is more important, and what it communicates is more important. I hope it still managed to do it in spite of the problems.
ครับต้องขออภัยด้วยสำหรับข้อจำกัดในการชมภาพยนตร์นี้ในรูปแบบของ DVD นะครับความจริงแล้วภาพยนตร์นั้นในแง่ของคุณภาพของภาพนั้นโดยฝีมือของทีมงานชาวเยอรมันนะครับผลงานนั้นเป็นที่น่าประทับใจนะครับแต่ว่าอย่างไรก็ตามเนี่ยทางผู้กำกับก็อยากจะเน้นถึงความสำคัญของใจความสำคัญหรือว่าเนื้อหาของภาพยนตร์เรื่องนี้นะครับซึ่งก็ได้รับการถ่ายทอดเป็นอย่างดีนะครับ Would you like to take a seat? Yeah, so we can proceed with the questions. Any questions from the floor? Any remarks you'd like to make or yes, please.
First, congratulations. I just thought that you have shown the movie in India.
Yes.
And what officially and the public.
The film was produced 3 years ago, and it has not been released in India as yet. Initially, we had some censorship problems, but finally, the censor board, after seeing the film a couple of times, has cleared the film for distribution in India. We're planning to release the film now in October in India.
Yep. And
the film has been seen at various film festivals all across the world, and wherever it has been seen, it has received amazing response and very, very warm response.
Did they cite any reason for the censorship? The reason behind the censorship?
It was felt that the subject was too controversial. Nudity is still a taboo in Indian cinema, and that's why they hesitated for a long time. After seeing the film by a select committee of what is called a revising committee, they felt that they actually came out and congratulated us for making this film and passed the film finally. So this is a kind of a landmark judgment in Indian cinema as well, that this film has been passed without any cuts.
But to add to that, do you really think that the censor board would be comfortable with a film that criticizes censorship?
Exactly.
So I think a lot of the initial discomfort had to do with what the film is about, and it's a first in Indian cinema. But as Ketan said, it's really significant that they passed the film without any cuts at all.
I spoke to you yesterday, Mr. Mehta, that the subject matter and the topic is still relevant today in India, right? The fight for the freedom of the artistic expression.
This film was made as almost a reaction to what was happening in India about 4 or 5 years ago. A great contemporary Indian painter called M.F. Hussain, one of the greatest contemporary painters, for the same reason of actually painting some nudes of Indian gods, was hounded out of the country. There were threats to his life. There were hundreds of cases filed against him all across India. He had to flee from India and actually died in exile. A kind of a climate of cultural intolerance, it seems, is sweeping across the world, not just India. And this is a film which is a reaction to that culture of intolerance. And I think creative freedom and freedom of expression is basis of our humanity, is basis of democracy, is basis of all art. What he says in the end, if you chain art, you lose out the best things in life, as it is. So yes, the film is extremely relevant even today in India. because the same kind of a conservative backlash is sweeping across the country.
I'm sure many of you are aware of Salman Rushdie's work. If you may know that earlier, not very long ago, there was a situation in which he felt like he could not come back to his home country, the city of his birth, the country of his birth, because there were such frightening and serious threats to his life because of his book. So clearly it's not something that's behind us yet. It's still very much a part of what is happening in India. It's very relevant today also.
Yes, please. We have a microphone on the floor. So, yes.
Hello. First of all, congratulations on a wonderful, beautiful film, despite the print quality and the sound quality. Just a couple of questions. There's one scene where you show the muse Sugandha on a swing. That the whole scene is almost like a Ravi Verma painting. Was that deliberate, or was it incidental?
No, I think it. If you notice, this is a motif at 3 or 4 crucial points in the film. It starts off like a watercolor painting, and then dissolves to real life situation. When he arrives in Bombay, the Victoria terminus is like a watercolor painting which comes alive. So this is a motif which has been used 3 times in the film.
Right. The second question is, do you really think that India is an intolerant society, or is it only a very small minority which is very vocal, which imposes its views on the country, and the country is seen as an intolerant society? But after all, it's a country of 1.2 billion people who I'm sure are not that intolerant.
India is actually one of the most open cultures, has been one of the most open cultures in the world. It has been one of the most liberal cultures in the world. Khajuraho and Ajanta and Ellora are actually living proofs of that. The fact is that you're right, it's a vocal fringe minority which actually holds the entire society to ransom. It is extremely vocal, it is extremely aggressive. Recently, just a couple, there were girls beaten up in a bar for drinking beer. There were students of art in Baroda School of Fine Art were actually bashed up for the kind of work they did. Exhibitions in Bombay were destroyed for the same. So there is a fringe minority which is holding the entire process of liberalization to ransom. And I really believe that, we have liberalized our society, we have liberalized our economy. It's time to liberalize our minds.
Yeah, Ketan, same. Beautiful movie. Really enjoyed. Very good acting. Everything excellent. Congratulations. Yes, the freedom of art and artist is important. But do you think that under the name of freedom of art, you can do anything? The other people also have the right to have some respect for everything. Imagine painting, say, Jesus Christ in a scene which will not be acceptable even in the Western society. It's not the question of India alone. Or say Buddha, you paint in a very unrespectable position and see what happens. It is a human nature. So artists cannot also put the whole society at ransom just on the name of, and that is precisely the reason M.F. Hussain had to leave, because it was disrespectful to the people.
I think in a democracy, if you don't have freedom of expression, you don't have real democracy. Just as people have a right to reject ideas, people have a right to express them as well. Mm-hmm. I think if you give a person a right to vote, you have to give him the right to express. In a democracy, this kind of an attitude where you say that you will be choked before you speak it, I believe is not acceptable. Everyone has a right to express. People have a right to reject if that is not acceptable to them.
But I think, do these rights also have to come with responsibility as well?
Yes, I'm sure. I'm sure there would be people who would err on the wrong side and would do excess. But in that case, we have the right to reject. but we do not have a right to be violent about it. You know.
Yeah.
Ketan, can I just add that people who do not agree have the right to disagree, but they do not have the right to hit anybody, to hound someone out of the country. There are laws in the country, there are adequate laws in the country which protect your rights. Both sides have their rights protected. And if you don't agree, just go to the courts. But why should you burn?
Violence is not a solution
No.
to any of the problems that people may have.
Nandana, yes. Yeah.
To add to what you said, for instance, because of having done, when people found out that I was in the film, a couple of things happened. I got a lot of hate mail, I was really quite significantly persecuted. But there were also things that were very significant, such as there was a picture that of me in the film where I pose as Lakshmi, that got published, and there was this huge kind of uproar about how offensive it was that the face of an actress who had actually agreed to do a scene like this was appearing as the face of a goddess, which is exactly what the situation that Sugandha in this film goes through, if you will remember. So, and that kind of, that was close to 150 years ago. You don't expect that sentiment to be happening now as well. And in answer to, I think there is responsibility. Of course, art comes with responsibility. I think an artist has certain rights, and I think the most important right of the artist is to express herself and himself freely. I don't think there is any right that an artist has that is bigger than that. I think the artist also has a responsibility, to move you and entertain you. If we had made this film and it had really bored you, we would not have been responsible artists. But we do also have a responsibility not to hurt people's sentiments. I do think that's true. But I don't think a reaction to that, I don't think a response to, an appropriate response, which I may disagree with, could be, I don't like this, I don't agree with this. It cannot be, you as an artist have to leave the country and die in exile. That cannot be an appropriate response to disagreeing with what an artist chooses to do, right? And I guess, yeah.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, thank you. Any other comments? Yes, please.
Thank you once again for a beautiful movie and a very topical and sensitive topic, because we are seeing this right now in Thailand in the form of this program that Thailand's Got Talent, where something similar to a scene in the movie is actually shot on television live, and so it's become quite controversial. But having said that, you're going to release this movie in October, and my question to you is that will you face the same type of backlash that is shown in the movie when your movie is released?
I think fear cannot be a quality of an artist. An artist cannot be scared. An artist cannot allow the fear to really dictate what he wants to do. And, well, I am also not known for my timidity. So let's see what happens. I think it's an extremely relevant, extremely important message that I needed to communicate as a filmmaker. And if what happens bothers me, then I won't be doing it.
No, sorry, maybe my question was not exactly like that. My question was that, do you expect that the type of reaction that you show in the movie will be the reaction that you might get when the movie is released? That's really the question.
This film was ready 3 years ago. Most of the distributors actually were scared of what you are saying, and that's why it had problems about getting it distributed in India. It's finally we have taken the responsibility of saying we will release the film, happen what may.
Thank you.
I just want to say that there, I think I agree with everything that Ketan has said, but I think he's also being very, very modest. I think all of us who were involved with doing the film knew what we were going into. I think we took that decision with eyes wide open. I think I've shared a couple of examples, but I can share with you so many more examples. I'm not going to bore you with that, but there have been enough examples of backlash already of a very similar kind. As you said, it's an interesting and important question to ask. But I think when you, as I mentioned before you saw the film, it really is a pioneering movie, and I don't think it's possible to do anything that's pioneering without backlash. I think every pioneer in the world has experienced backlash from some quarter or the other. I think that's just, that's just par for the course. Personally speaking, it is something, and going back to an issue that you asked about responsibility, and I said in answer to that I think it is important to understand the power that art has to provoke people, to provoke joy and love and hate and anger, all of these emotions. Film especially is a very evocative medium. And as an actor, when Ketan and I had been wanting to work together for many years. We were supposed to work together on his film before this, Mangal Pandey, but didn't work out. I wasn't in the country. And it was kind of when he asked me to do this film, it was really a very exciting opportunity to play such a brave and trend-setting character. But at the same time, it is a decision that I needed to think about a lot. And it's a decision that I actually discussed with my parents at length, and both of them were very supportive, precisely because it is important to, and I knew that there would be a backlash. I also knew that some people would be offended. I wanted to make sure that my parents wouldn't feel hurt in any way, and they were very, very encouraging and supportive. And everyone agreed that this scene in particular was very much at the core of the film, the emotional and political core of the film. So it's not something, what I'm trying to say is that all of us thought about it a great deal. It wasn't just a decision that was only idealistic and rational, which is what it is. It's a film that all of us made out of love and idealism. But we did think about it, and we knew what the consequences would be, and we decided to go ahead and do it anyway.
Thank you.
Yes. I came because I'm a big fan of Raja Ravi Varma. I wasn't expecting like a wonderful film of such depth. Thank you very, very much. But the scene in the courtroom, is that the dialogue comes from the actual trial, right? The actual court inscription?
No, there are no records of
really?
that thing available now, because this was more than 100 years ago. So basically it's what can be said about, I mean, the fact that he was tried is a fact. The fact that he was released is a fact. Mm-hmm. He was acquitted is a fact. The dialogues actually had to be worked out.
And the destruction of the painting at the auction, that's you? Is that you, or is that actual news?
Sorry?
The destruction of his painting.
Not this particular painting.
No, but a painting of his.
No.
Did that actually happen?
They're too expensive. Nobody would destroy them. But there have been many.
But there are many such, many such vandalizing of paintings have happened in various exhibitions across India.
And
yes. The fact is, as Nandana said, I have been wanting to work with Nandana for a long time, and this was a great opportunity. I think she's a brilliant actress with an international mind. And sensibility, and a very contemporary, modern actress. Randeep Hooda was an upcoming actor who has not really been exposed to much, but again a brilliant actor. Before this, I had done a very big film with major, big stars. This I wanted to make a more intimate film, with actors who didn't carry any other baggage of a personality behind them. So, and I think both of them have done an incredible job, and I'm very happy with their performances.
Yes. Please.
Yes, congratulations for the wonderful film. One of my questions is how the reaction from the artist family. Are there any negative reaction?
Not yet.
I have something to add to that actually. There's one of the non-profit organizations that I'm the ambassador of is, I work in child rights a great deal, and this particular organization is called Operation Smile, which works with children. But the person who heads Operation Smile in India is actually a great nephew of Raja Ravi Verma. And he told me recently how happy he was that this film had been made, and in fact the opposite of his reaction was quite the opposite of what we might have expected. But I mean, it is a film that really celebrates him, and it does celebrate everything that he did for India. So I would imagine that his family would love it.
Second, the Sukanda have a real person. She is really exists.
As I had mentioned,
and is she hang herself?
Okay, this film is actually based on a novel written about 50 years ago by one of the great Marathi novelists called Ranjit Desai. He had done an extensive amount of research before writing the novel. I think what he has done is merged 2 or 3 women into this character. But yes, the muse, one of the girls committed suicide is a fact.
Yes, over here. Yes, please.
What was the reaction to the film in the filmmaking?
Sorry?
What was the reaction to the film in the filmmaking industry of India?
Whoever has seen, not many people have seen the film in India, but whoever has seen it has really appreciated the film. And not just in India. We have shown the film in Sri Lanka, we have shown the film in Bulgaria, United States, UK. It has won a couple of awards internationally. So the film has been appreciated wherever it has been seen.
Yes, any other comments? Yes, please. Yes.
So, what will you describe this as? This is celebration of Raja Ravi Verma, or this is you making your point from an artist's perspective to put across to a so-called not so tolerable audience?
I think, yes, it is a celebration of Raja Ravi Verma's work, no doubts about it. But more than that, I think it's a vehicle for communicating contemporary ideas. Raja Ravi Verma, for me, stands for freedom of expression and creative freedom, and that is what this film tries to communicate. So he is a vehicle that, as a filmmaker, one is using to communicate ideas.
So sorry, so shouldn't you qualify that a lot of those characters and some of the parts in the movie are not actually genuine or something which have no proof of?
At the moment, finally when the film will be screened theatrically and with audiences, there would be this caption which is mandatory after the censor certificate that we have in India. But at the beginning of the film, the first title says it is based on a novel by Ranjit Desai. Yes?
Is there any more questions?
Thank you. Yeah, please.
Oh, okay, please.
I don't have anything negative. I don't have any questions.
Wonderful of you to say that. Really touched.
Good luck with it. Totally.
You touched me really, and that's wonderful. Thanks a lot.
And that's a nice way to end the session, I guess. Thank you very much. A big round of applause for
Thank you once again.
the director, Mr. Ketan Mehta, and a beautiful actress, Nandana Sen. for gracing our event, Cinema Diverse. And before we go, I think Kun Noi, Pasiri, Panya, and Lekha Shankar would like to say a few words on behalf of the Films Forum, one of the partners of this event.
We are very happy to see all you guys here, and thanks very much for coming. And we would like to say that we have a next movie is very important one for next month. Is called August Diesel on 28 July. Hope you come again, and we would like to see you again. And one of my colleagues would like to say something.
Just the same thing. Thank you so much to the audience, because this whole idea of Films Forum is to have a forum to celebrate cinema and to bring filmmakers and exchange it with the film people here. I want to say a special thank you to Ketan and Nandana, who are old friends. I apologize for the DVD screening. It's purely due to budgetary reasons, but they agreed to come in spite of their busy schedules first because they believed in this. So I'm very thankful to them. Very thankful to BACC, Kun Lakana, Kun Fa, Kun Haisang, who helped us so much to put together this, to our great sponsors, which this wouldn't have happened, to Thai Airways for flying the people down, to the executive president of the Aditya Birla Group, Mr. Agarwal, who just kept us floating above water, to Mr. Atul Jogani from the Almac Group, to Vinda Balbir of the restaurant, Mrs. Balbir, to Coca-Cola, to the Indian ambassador, the best I saved for the last, who was really a backbone and kept us to the Indian Cultural Center. Thank you so much. And as like Noy said, we look forward to seeing you at our next film, 28th of July. It's by a director who's the most talked about in Sri Lanka. And I hope you enjoy it and you come back. Thank you.